Roman is the biggest bad guy character in professional wrestling.
When's the last time you got laid?
French Toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Like, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Can we tell the truth about Dusty sooner or later?
Bro,
like-
less people wanted that than are currently watching our stream.
And you know Vince, and you still think, are these true? It's like...
Welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tuesday nights. Because you liked it so much last week, we're back again this week. I am James Gisanti, joined by the Tuesday Night Delight himself, Nick Maniotis. We are going to be covering a lot of wrestling tonight, guys. We're breaking it up into 2 shows. This first show will be all about WWE NXT. Once we're done with this show, I'm going to be jumping the barricade, crossing sides, unlike Daniel Garcia, but I will be going to AEW. So, a lot happened tonight on this episode of NXT. This is week 2 on the CW. And in week 2, they kept the big names coming, probably because they knew they were going to be spending some of the night sharing time with AEW Dynamite on their title Tuesday. So we started the show off with none other than the new NXT World Champion, 2-time Trick Williams. Trick, we got a first comment here. Hunter, Iggy, Hunter, what's up? It's been a while, Hunter. Always appreciate you joining in. Always appreciate you stopping by. Hope you enjoyed NXT tonight. Hope you maybe enjoyed AEW as well. Thank you for spending this Tuesday night with us. Trick had quite the swagger to him tonight as he comes out as our 2-time NXT World Champion, and he lets us know as he makes us, or suggests we call him Tricky 2 times, because he's our, like I said, 2-time NXT champion. He's got this brand new, beautiful belt around his waist, and he knows that there are sharks in the locker room watching, but that doesn't change anything. One of those sharks does show up, though, and that is Wes Lee. Wes Lee is up in the crowd, like second level, congratulates our new champion before saying people don't want to hear Trick talk for 2 hours. He's not the only one who had a career milestone last week, as Wes shed a lot of dead weight, and now he's looking to become an NXT Triple Crown champion. Trick tells him to hold up as his accolades speak for themselves, but it's going to end with Trick Willie's hand raised in the end. Wes Lee then tells him he ain't it, and he's going to take that title away before he ever gets comfortable, and then he's going to leave him in the dust like he did his partner. This brings out main event Jey Uso. He gets on the mic. The crowd is erupting. He says that he's in their city, and Trick says he appreciates him coming out to NXT after his big victory last week. They share a moment together doing the whoop that Trick chant and the yeet chant. The crowd is just eating this up. As they're doing their, I guess, I don't know, like it feels like the wrestling equivalent of touching tips. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Kalani Jordan make their entrance, and they send us to the break as we have 5 champions in the ring. I thought it was a cool visual for NXT to start their show off with. Nick, I just did a lot of recap. Tell me what you thought about it.
Almost kind of expected for the opening for NXT in terms of Trick Williams coming out. Obviously, you want to hear from him after his big win against Ethan Page. I thought he looked great. I thought he sounded great. Seeing the belt around his waist, I actually do think it looked really good.
It does. The gold popped a little more.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about it so much. We obviously spoke about it last week, but they're growing on me. Absolutely. I think it was only natural for Wes Lee to be his next competitor, because where does Wes go after the Rascals feud?
Maybe. We don't know that he's going to be his next competitor. We will talk about that. But he is the first person to plant his flag in the on Challenger Mountain.
He will. So yeah, but to that point, Wes's natural progression is now I want to be the NXT champion, as he should be. He's been arguably one of the most exciting parts of NXT through, honestly, the last 2 to 3 years, and then
you're talking about West right here.
Yes. And that's consistent too, even through their low points. He's been a bright star. Jey Uso, didn't expect that.
It felt so random. I don't know what it accomplished, but I'm not mad that he was there.
I wish it had led to maybe something maybe made a little more sense other than just, hey, let me come out because I'm Jey Uso.
I agree.
But also, happy you're here, bud.
Exactly. Our new Intercontinental Champion.
Maybe wrestle a match or two down here. Jey Uso versus Wesley. That would be kind of awesome. Yeah,
I agree. And I think it would be, again, we'll talk a little bit more about it afterwards, but I do think if Wes isn't going to be Trick's first challenger, it would be a nice mini feud to keep Trick hot. Not Trick, Wes hot.
I agree.
And we'll see. NXT, and no, NX Yeet. This tweet from our producer boy, our beloved producer boy. But yeah, I thought this was a fun way to start the show. We had the NXT World Champion, the Intercontinental Champion. We had the Women's Tag Team Champions, and we had the NXT North American Women's Champion. I thought, very shiny way to start the show, very exciting way to start the show. And if you're in that crowd, you're popping. You're going to get excited to see all those fan favorites gathered together. But moving on, coming back from commercial break, we start with a 6-woman tag team match as we have the tag team champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, teaming up with Kalani Jordan, the North American Women's Champion, taking on Fatal Influence. Out the gate, Nyx and Jordan started. Jasmine was in control, but Jordan then slingshots around for an arm drag and follows it with a drop kick as the match breaks down, and all three baby faces do triplicate body slams before flexing. Belair then pressing Nyx. She gets away, who tags in Henley, but Bianca keeps the attack up. Up and over, handspring into a taunt in the corner, backflip up and over, shoulder block into the corner, into mounted punches. This leads to a tag. We got on the screen, I think still, let me check. Kalani Jordan, Bianca Belair, and Jade, and Roman Reigns giving his nod of approval. Producer boy, are we still on audio sites? Are we still doing anything audibly? Because I don't know if I've got to describe these things anymore. Let me know. We then get a tag into Jade Cargill, a big double team slam. Kalani then tags in, and Jade military press drops her for a cover for 2. Cheap shots from the heels. Jordan is isolated, and we go to break. We then come back from the commercial. Kalani is on the wrong side of the ring, but she breaks away, slips out of a German suplex, hits a jawbreaker to grab some space, and then makes the tag, and Jade comes in with that hot tag. Spine buster, big backbreaker, a fall-away slam, some splashes, and a big old choke slam. She then tags in Bianca, hits with an assisted splash, which Henley Fallon breaks up. Everybody just starts going for the cool stuff. And then eventually we get the win after Kalani Jordan hits a split-legged moonsault, getting the 1, 2, 3. I thought this was a fun way to start the show match-wise. I feel for Jade because I feel like no matter what she does, she is always going to be under a huge microscope in terms of if she's making any mistakes, what she's doing right, what she's doing wrong. But I think this was a nice showing for her. Hot tag is a good way to handle her. And I think Fatal Influence is still the poor man's Toxic Attraction, but I'll take it. It.
I will say the match did get "This is awesome" chance.
It did. It really did.
If that means anything. I know, obviously, last week I kind of shit on Fatal Influence a little bit.
It's okay.
I think they had a very good showing this week in terms of how they work together in the ring. A lot of the tag team offense I thought was fairly impressive. But I still just don't understand the group. It's always going to feel like just three random people thrown together.
I think it's simply a bad girls club. Like there's not necessarily a lot of thought behind it, or if there is, it was before I really started getting back into NXT, so I couldn't really explain it. But yeah, it is what it is. But I mean, they did work well together. This tweet from Humble Wrestling saying, "I can't wait when Bianca Belair enters her singles era again because this woman is unreal. Even during this side quest era, she puts all of her effort into making everybody around her look good." I don't want to call it a side quest thing because it's very clear. Like, to me, it's obvious they're going to eventually build to Bianca versus Jade. That feels like the obvious outcome, and that feels less like a side quest and more just like putting effort into a story over time. Like they're investing time into this story while also building up Jade with a performer you can count on like Bianca. Because it's funny to me that people forget Bianca didn't really have a wrestling background. She's always been an athlete. She's always been athletic, but she came to wrestling fairly fresh, fairly new, and she took to it like a fish to water. And Jade has a similar background, always been athletic, with the bodybuilding, and she didn't really take to it as quickly. She took to the character stuff beautifully, but she didn't take to the
psychology aspect.
Yeah. And I think she's better than people give her credit for, but she's obviously still, sorry for the pun, she's still green. And I'm not ashamed of it. It worked. And I think NXT is really where she belongs. So that's why I'm glad that they're getting these reps in.
I agree. I will say it has been nice giving Bianca something that isn't, hey, you're going for the world title.
Yeah.
Because it felt like for a couple of years that was really the consistent story with her, which obviously that makes sense. You're a professional wrestler, you want to be the champion. But it's been refreshing to see other people be put into that spotlight while she's, doing the Jade story stuff, winning the tag titles, and we're slowly waiting for one of them to turn on the other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see who it is because Bianca was a good heel in her original NXT run.
I agree. And it would be interesting to see a main roster heel Bianca. Yeah. But I also feel like the natural choice is Jade.
I would agree too. I think it would serve her strengths a little bit better. But if she does turn heel, she's still going to need to surround herself with people because 100%. She works best when she's bouncing off of people. And AEW knew that. WWE knows that. Going to Eric's comment in the chat, he says it's ironic when people call WWE racist, yet NXT is the most diverse wrestling show in the world right now. I don't think anybody calls WWE racist. I think people are calling Triple H racist.
Shawn Michaels loves people of color.
Absolutely. He's been trying to be one since the 90s.
He's had Sexy Red on TV like 4 times.
As a major selling point. Not just like, oh, there's Sexy Red. No, it's like we're advertising Sexy Red.
I would bet any amount of money Shawn Michaels is invited to the cookout.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And man, there goes the neighborhood. But all right, moving on from this fun little match to start the show that got This Is Awesome chance. We then go to, I would love if the banner changed, but I could figure it out. We had a backstage segment between the NXT Tag Team Champions, Fraxium, and Randy Orton. This felt so surreal. This felt Howard, like it, like what is this, a crossover episode? And I couldn't really process it, but they're getting ready for their match backstage. They're figuring things out. Yeah, that tweet is legit. They're figuring things out, and Randy interrupts them, asking how fast VonEvans is. VonEvans being Randy's opponent for later in the night. Axiom says he may be the fastest guy in NXT, but Nathan Frazier, his partner, is upset, and they bicker before Nathan apologizes for being a hothead. Randy then says that sometimes you need to find that place, and it's not the worst thing in the world to be a hothead. Frazier takes it and runs with it, and Axiom looks a little frustrated, but Randy wishes them luck. I thought it was a fun little segment. Randy being one of the boys. This tweet saying Fraxium is one of the best tag teams of all time. I said what I said. I like Fraxium a lot. I do. I will not go that far yet. I mean, they're young. There's plenty of time to prove it. But they are having a fun run in NXT. They are.
I don't think Fraxium is meant for longevity.
See, I don't think so either, but they've already lasted longer than I thought they would.
That's a fair point, but it feels like it's any moment. You never know.
This tweet, Randy Orton is about to cause Fraxium to break up, like he helped cause the Shield to break up. Oh my God. And Paul Heyman is just sobbing. I really don't want to compare the Shield to Fraxium. Can we not, please?
Also, shout out to Axiom for being the only person in existence to look confused with a mask on.
With a mask that shows no facial expressions. This isn't a Rey Mysterio mask where you see the eyes and the mouth. This isn't Batman. This is a guy who's wearing...
This is the Red Ranger.
This is the Red Ranger. Turbo, right? This is no. Zeo. This is absolutely a Zeo outfit.
Zeo Ranger 5, baby. Let's go.
Eric keeps putting up, Producer Boy keeps putting up all these tweets about Fraxium being the greatest tag team ever. And I would bet the house Eric has never seen either one of these men wrestle before. Individually or as a tag team.
I bet if I said either of their name in our chat, he would reply with who?
Who?
Yeah.
Who's that fan?
Is that a fan? Yep.
Eric saying, I have no
idea who they are.
100%. There you go. You know, sometimes it's a blessing and a curse to have gotten so close to Eric, to know him so well at this point.
He's not like this in real life. That's what drives me crazy.
He is like, he's Two-Face, man. It's like there's a split between real life Eric and online Eric.
Oh my God.
Eric saying, if I don't know them, they must be asked. This is coming from somebody who just discovered baseball for the first time a month ago. And I just can't value that opinion, friends. I just can't. But moving on, we go elsewhere backstage as Julia is being interviewed. Julia is, before she could really say too much, there's a knock on the door. She's interrupted, and Julia answers with a, hello, old friend. And then they go to commercial break. And I think it was one of those things that we all knew where it was going. There was no real question here. We called it last week. But we'll save the mystery until we get to the actual segment, which is next, as Roxanne Perez, the still NXT Women's Champion, much, much, much to our beloved Daniel's dismay. She comes out and she says she thought last week it was finally going to happen, that the international sensation was going to dethrone her as NXT Women's Champion. But nope. Once again, here we are, disappointed, and she stands with the title. Maybe now we'll start to believe everything she's been saying since April, but she's not going to hold her breath. She then introduces her her old friend, Cora Jade. And I'm really glad that meme didn't get shared publicly. Cora says she's had to sit at home and listen to everyone talk about how deep the women's division is, listing everyone but her for some reason. So when she cost Julia the title, nobody saw it coming, not even Roxanne. The women we used to know the woman we used to know was a young girl trying to make it in NXT, but now you're looking at the woman who's going to make NXT. Let's see this tweet here. I respect Roxanne Perez for trying this heel stuff, but she's still too likable to boo. It's the 2016 Alexa Bliss problem of who actually wants to boo this small lady. What the fuck is that? We were all looking to boo Alexa Bliss.
I never wanted to cheer Alexa Bliss in 2016.
Don't get me wrong. I
was a big Alexa Bliss fan.
What Blue fans? Jesus Christ. Okay. Wow. Blast from the past.
Yeah. There. Shout out to that feud.
Love you, Leva Bates. No, don't get me wrong. I agree. Roxanne Perez is a likable lady, but no, I'm enjoying booing her. Maybe not as much as I enjoyed booing Alexa Bliss, but she's doing a good job as a heel. Cora then says Perez deserves to be champion, and this is the version she always knew she could be, and that's why they're friends again. And that's really bad for the rest of the division. Roxanne says she wishes she'd listened to Cora ages ago, but she finally learned her lesson. This then brings out that international sensation we were talking about, Julia. Cora tried waving her and taunting her into the ring, but Julia's not alone. That old friend turns out to be none other than Stephanie Vicar. The babyfaces hit the ring. A brawl breaks out. What happened?
I said it's about time.
I know, right? It feels weird that it took this long.
For both of them, honestly.
Seriously. Julia, at least I understood she was finishing out dates in like Japan. But like we have on record that Stephanie Vicar dropped dates because she was like, I'm going right to WWE. So just
but
bizarre.
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Welcome back, Finn Balor and Hideo Itami.
Seriously, that vibe is strong. But both women clear out the heels. The NXT Women's Championship is left in the ring, and both Stephanie and Julia grab it at the same time. I would not want to be Roxanne Perez. And I did say it. I think we're going to get this tag team match first, but I would not be shocked. I think a Fatal 4-Way is in the cards somewhere in the future.
I would also say, if they're going to go ahead and move forward with this Roxanne and Cora Jade tag team, I would love it if they put the North American title on Cora Jade.
That'd be cool. 2-woman power trip.
100%.
2-woman power trip.
Make it
love
happen.
That. I love that idea. That's cool. That's really cool. And I think it'll add some gravitas to that championship, because we talked about it. We like Kalani Jordan. She's been a great inaugural champion.
But you need someone that's going to bring a little more elevation to it.
Absolutely.
As much as Kalani Jordan, I think, is great in the ring and is improving every week, I still feel like there's something missing.
I would agree. I would agree. And the danger, though, becomes you don't want that title to be elevated too much, because you got to remember it is a mid-card title. But we are in an age now where I don't want to say they're interchangeable, but you do have main eventers going after the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title. So I feel like it shouldn't be too off. Jesus. This tweet from Drainmaker, Stephanie Vicar on her first day in WWE, and it's Triple H pointing towards the LWO. Or
Legado.
Legado del Fantasma. Woof. But anyway, moving on. We have a backstage segment with the No Quarter Catch crew. Okay. We got to talk about it, right? That mustache, Charlie Dempsey. What the fuck, dude?
I see. It sounds like you're not feeling the mustache.
I love mustaches in general. I could tell you, I turn into a different person when I just have a mustache. It gives me like a power that I can't explain. I am like
Gomez Adams.
You have no idea, really. But look at that.
I love it. I don't know, man.
He looks like a fucking beetle. He looks like Ringo's less talented brother.
And that's fine, because at least it gives him something other than like, hey, you're William Regal's son. I like the mustache. I like the mustache. I'm a fan of the mustache. Maybe a little soul patch or something, Charlie.
Yeah.
You know, but like
it's just his upper lip is too wide.
I mean,
that's
look,
what it is. Like this little, area between the nose and the lip. Is there a name for that? It's like a face gooch. It's like a face taint. I don't know if there's an official name for it, but like I'm not even ashamed of that. But this picture of Charlie Dempsey.
Yeah.
But is it Charlie Dempsey? I don't know. But all right.
I don't know, man. Charlie, mustache. I'm digging it.
Maybe I got to see it like in better light. I'll give it a week too. Okay. But before that mustache could really take over our lives and screens, he is interrupted by somebody who has somehow worse facial hair than Lexis King.
I think that's why they did it. I think that's why they put them together. They were like, well, if people are going to think this is shit, at least they'll be distracted by something that's even worse.
I would give money. I would gladly pay Charlie Dempsey if he told me I wanted to try and outdo Lexis King. Because I'll be like, you know what? Good for you. Good for you. You are committing to a bit, and that's what's going to get you far, kid. But I would pay to see that. So how does Lexis King explain this look to normal people on the street? He does go out like this. I don't think it's like as made up, but he goes out like that, and it's a brave man.
I'd be curious to see how much of it is real and how much of it is airbrushed on.
I feel like some of it has to be. It's too crisp.
Yeah. On a consistent level.
On some level, that's more depressing.
No Dominican barber can make you look that good every week.
They talk about the rules, the Admiral Lord Mount Evans rules and gentlemen's duels, and we're gonna see a gentlemen's rules match next week, and I am intrigued. I'm intrigued. We'll talk about that, I guess, next week when it happens. But okay, that was a segment. We then move over to the match of the night, the match we were all highly anticipating, and a match that I think absolutely delivered, as the NXT North American Championship was on the line, as champion Oba Femi defended against Tony D'Angelo. And I'm going to get into the details of the match in a second, but I mean this. I'm putting my money on it now, and I'm sorry I was late to the party on this guy. I mean, I enjoyed what I had been seeing, but I hadn't really been paying attention, not completely. Oba Femi is not a star. He is a superstar. Like, they made that word for certain guys, and Oba Femi is that guy. That entrance, pretend I'm The Rock right now, but I'm pointing at the goosebumps. The crowd was enamored with this man. He carries himself like a champion of champions. He's got the look. He's got the ability. Last week proved to me he can go on the mic. I can't find a flaw in this guy's battle plan. I can't find a weakness with this guy overall. He
is 100% a spectacle.
Absolutely.
He is, dare I say, the perfect wrestler.
I am scared to agree, because that feels almost blasphemous for somebody
in the sense of like, and look, obviously there are things, you could really kind of look at the small details where
Yeah, of
maybe he
course,
could improve
of course.
here, but when it comes down to it, he is just everything they've ever looked for in a
Yes.
professional wrestler.
Absolutely.
And it's not it's good. People getting behind him. They love his promo work, they love his matches. And no one expected this from him, when the breakout tournament happened.
Yep.
He has come a very, very, very long way in a short amount of time. And I think that's awesome.
And everyone is doing what they need to with him. They're giving him the opportunities to look like a star, and he's absolutely taking advantage of it. He has not faltered. And again, as somebody who's still relatively new to him, I've gone back and I've looked at everything I can. He is taking the ball that they've handed him and he's running with it. He's absolutely running with it.
I agree.
So that's enough. Just heaping praise on Oba, but I needed to be said. This tweet saying Oba Femi should be NXT champion by the end of the year. I am cool with that because I just looked up how old he is. He's only 26. There is no need to rush him. He is so young, but I don't want a long run as NXT champion. I want him on that main roster soon. I want that man running through people. I want to see Oba Femi versus a main roster Braun Breaker. I want to see Oba Femi versus Gunther. I want to see Oba Femi versus Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed. I feel like I'm saying that I want to see Oba Femi on Raw, but I would love to see that tweet that Producer Boy put up before when it was describing all the people that Oba Femi resembles, like Ric Flair, Roman Reigns, all those people. I want to see Oba Femi versus Roman Reigns. I want to see Oba Femi versus Jacob Fatu. Oh man. But anyway, again, enough gushing on our end. The match starts. D'Angelo, who I got to give him his roses too. He's played his part here beautifully. Tony D'Angelo absolutely playing the scared, the unsure but unafraid challenger, because that's what last week established. He even if he's not sure that he can beat him, he was going to stand up to him, and I love that. I love that progression for this character. But Tony, the match starts with Oba throwing punches in the corner, shoving D'Angelo down, and scooping him up for a big old slam. We get an elbow drop, a cover for 2, and then a side headlock to grind Tony down. And then he slams him into the apron as we go to commercial break. As we come back, we have a backbreaker hold applied just to try and wear Tony down even further. D'Angelo is able to get away, and Stacks, one of his boys from the family, slides the crowbar in, but he's not going to use it. And I love this. This is what I'm saying. I'm loving that they're really expanding on this character, and he's evolving. He throws some elbows towards Oba. He whips him across, and he goes for that spine buster, but it's blocked, and Oba blasts them to the floor with a cactus clothesline. Oba then gets into it with the family at ringside and then shoves them down, and this gives Tony the determination he needs to continue with the fight. We get a double leg into grounded punches on the floor, and he throws the champion into the steel steps. We then get a belly-to-belly suplex on the floor. We get in the ring with a spear, but it's interrupted by an uppercut by Oba Femi. Oba then hits a charging lariat. No, I'm so sorry. Tony then hits a charging lariat from the corner. All right, we got this tweet from Producer Boy here. Oba Femi knocked down Rizzo by accident, and Tony D turned into a demon. That belly to belly was crazy. Going to the comments, we got Dev. What up, Dev? How you doing, pal?
Welcome.
Tuesday. I know we're covering WWE tonight. We're going to be covering AEW later. I hope to see you there. Although it's becoming more and more likely we may just cover AEW tomorrow. I'll keep you posted. Going to the comments real quick from Eric asking, what do we think about Punk saying he'd want Oba in his theoretical stable? Or I guess Eric corrected himself, hypothetical stable. I mean, I guess it would depend on the context.
Is it a stable that is led by Punk, or is it similar to the Shield where it's a Punk creation and he is just making it happen, right? At least from a backstage perspective.
I think in this context, I think he's talking about being in an active group with them, like a straight.
I don't think he doesn't need to.
Yeah,
I don't think he needs to. I think, and I don't know if it works for Oba's character particularly.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think I don't think any one wrestler is an island. We've seen, like, except if I guess you're Brock Lesnar, but I think from time and time again we've seen even the top guys at one point or another be in a tag team or be in some kind of group. I can't at this point tell you who I think he'd be in a group with that would fit. But I'd be open to the concept. Eric saying, or elaborating, they asked him about a straight edge society 2.0, and he said he wants something different. I mean,
if there are guys that would fit better for a Punk-led stable,
I agree.
Especially because he's not really focusing on the straight edge aspect of his character anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not really CM Punk's deal. I think there are other people that would benefit from it more.
Yeah.
But I don't think Oba needs it.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree. I couldn't really tell you who I put in a Punk stable at this moment.
Nathan Frazier.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. And it doesn't even need to just be NXT guys. Like, even main roster guys, it's like...
Motor City Machine Guns could be cool.
That would be. Spoiler. Is that Josh Peck with SCU?
Yes, that is from... Oh, I know exactly what that's from.
Was it... What TV show was it?
It's not a TV show. It's the... God, what was that guy's name? He did the Why I Love Professional Wrestling, and he pretty much like told the history of Triple H's story. Through...
Yeah, Max Landis.
Yes.
Yeah, wrestling isn't wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like C-list celebrity and wrestling cameos. Speaking of cameos,
yeah, you're an A-lister in my heart, honey. But yeah, back to the match. Where are we? A charging lariat from the challenger gets a drop kick from the champion. This then leads to a big choke slam, which would normally get the 3, but Tony D'Angelo won't stay down. He ducks a lariat and hits a German suplex. Oba returns with a tossing power bomb, but he's completely spent and falls to the mat. He then hits a charging uppercut. Tony comes off the top and cut off with another uppercut. Oba follows him to the floor and clears the announce desk. Tony is able to turn the tables, and I'm not ashamed of that one, and hits the spine buster through the table. He then throws Oba, capitalizing on that momentum, and hits another spine buster in the ring, only getting the 2 count. Not enough to put down the champion. Oba Femi then springs up. Terrifying speed. Someone that big should not be that fast. He gets another wind. He grabs Tony by the throat, lifts him up, goes for that choke slam again, but Tony is able to counter, rolling him up putting all that weight, all that leverage, and he gets the 1, 2, 3, and the Don of NXT is now our North American champion. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think Tony was getting the win here tonight. I am kind of shocked. I am kind of wow. Don't get me wrong. I'm loving Tony D'Angelo. He's earned everything he's getting right now. He's worked his way up to this spot. But I was not expecting the loss for Oba.
Shout out to Tony D'Angelo. He is actually another guy that I think took something that should not have gotten over, and he made it so entertaining.
I agree. This modern day FBI.
He's great. He's another guy that I think he's, sky's the limit. When he does eventually get called up, I only see great things for him.
If they keep him with the family, which I imagine they would. This isn't the day
to an extent. I don't see him coming up with everyone, but him and Stax, sure. You know, whether they bring Rizzo and Crucifino with him as well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But this match was absolutely fantastic.
I agree.
Probably match of the night, at least for me.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Tony got the win. I think we were even talking about this last week. I said it's about time Tony got some singles gold.
Absolutely.
Obviously, tag team championship run, great.
Yeah,
love that for him and Stax.
Yeah.
Winning the trophy was cool for a little bit, but this was something I think he deserved.
Yeah.
And the way it was done too, Oba doesn't look, any worse off for it.
Absolutely. Going through a table, taking a second finisher, rebounding quickly, and then getting pinned with a roll-up. That is a great way to protect your champion. Or former champion. So well done. Great performance from both men. Great story leading up into this. They allowed this story to be told over the course of several weeks. And I think they did a great job by Tony. Obafemi, whether this was, we talked about it before in our private chat, whether this is the end of his NXT run or we're going to pause, reset a little bit until he can go for the world title. Man, sky's the limit for this kid.
Love that he's using the European uppercut, catching people with that too.
Yeah.
He's sorely missing that since Claudio has since moved on to AEW.
Yep. No, I'd agree. I love a good European uppercut. It's so explosive and so safe at the same time.
It looks like it hurts, but it doesn't.
Exactly. Just the art, the beauty of professional wrestling. Chris Leclerc in the comments saying, I love to see Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade back as friends again. First of all, welcome back, Chris. I feel like it's been a while since we've had you in the comments, so thank you for joining us tonight. And I agree. I think this dynamic is going to work very well. These heels, these very angry young women, I think I hope a bright future for them as a team. I hope it doesn't implode. But we shall see. And I like this idea that Nick has of a 2-woman power trip. We'll definitely find out. I do see them being a credible team that could take the titles off of Bianca and Jade. It would be really hard to explain the physical disadvantage they would have against them. But I'd be down for it. I think
I also wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind the women's tag titles doing a little stint in NXT.
Yeah.
If they really got nothing fresh going on the main roster, send it down there for a little bit.
I think we talked about, I think I might have said it before that I think this tag title run has been great for Jade because it allows her to get the reps in NXT. Like She's going to be a star on the main roster, but she also gets to work NXT and get more of that training there. So win-win for everybody with that. But moving on from this excellent matchup, we then go backstage with Lola Vice. we go back to last week a little bit where we saw the aftermath of her match, her tag team match with Jada Parker, where Jada left her by herself to take on Fatal Influence. Both women meet in the locker room. They brawl a little bit before being separated. And now we are back to this week where Lola is with Ava Raine, the general manager of NXT. Lola says she wants this match with Jada Parker, and Ava says that she wants it too, but she can't get it because I think they said she's in Canada. Was that it? Was that what I heard?
I don't remember.
Yeah. So she is interrupted by Nikita Lyons.
Welcome back.
Yeah, been a long time. Nikita, I can tell you this is the first time I've ever actually heard Nikita speak. The voice was not what I imagined. It did not match the body. But Nikita had a scheduled meeting with Ava Raine, but Lola says she's busy with her right now. That's going to have to wait. Both women bicker back and forth before Ava books the match between the two of them. So good way to bring Nikita back. Good way to keep Lola going while they build up, I guess, this grudge match with Jada Parker. So accomplished what they wanted to with this segment, as far as I'm concerned. Moving on, we then, I believe we had a backstage segment. With,
do you think they intentionally made it so that Jada Parker is just GTA San Andreas and Lola Vice is just GTA Vice City?
I in my heart would love to believe that, but I'm also totally willing to accept that the universe just works out in certain ways. And either way, I think I'm okay and I'm satisfied.
I feel like me saying that means they kind of have to run with it now.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's almost too good not to.
Right? Going to the comments real quick. You know it. I got a double ad. Thanks, Jay. It's not my fault, dude. This is what happens when we. This is what happens when we
need
move
the money
on up in the world. It's just watch it for 5 seconds, 10 at the most. Skip it. You know, we still get it even if you skip it. Just watch the minimum. But we appreciate it. You know it. Hi, pal. Thank you for being here. Chris Leclerc saying he still wants to see Bianca Belair turn heel because she was never a heel on the main roster. We were talking about that a little bit before, Chris. We kind of agree. It would be fascinating to see Bianca as a heel on the main roster, but we're more expecting the heel turn to be from Jade. But who knows? Let's see what those swerves, swervy storytelling.
The only thing I want to add to that is if they do turn Bianca heel, I think it would be really interesting if they cut the braid off.
Wow. That would be a real like era.
I know that's like the easy thing to do. Her heel character was using it as a whip. But I really think it would be interesting if new, fresh look, make her, that bad girl, like just go all out.
Yeah.
Make it interesting,
Wow. I mean, I'm sure she would on some level love it because that's got to be a bitch to maintain for the ring. Right.
Also, you wanna turn heel. You wanna change the thing because people are only gonna cheer her if she's whipping people with her hair.
It's true.
So cut that braid.
You know it in the comments. What the fuck are you guys talking about? None of this was on Dynamite tonight.
Yeah.
You know it. I said it at the start of the show. As soon as this is over, I am going to cover Dynamite. Or depending on what you guys think, I might cover it tomorrow. Producer boy, put up a poll in the comments. Ask if I should cover Dynamite tonight or if I should cover Dynamite tomorrow. See what everybody says. If they're going to join me, we'll do it together. We'll do it live.
I think AEW should just try again tomorrow and just do Dynamite on Wednesday anyway. I think they should pretend that this tonight just didn't happen.
The first hour of Dynamite had one match. And that might be the most WWE thing they've ever done.
I'm telling you, it's
get
Shane. This is twice now.
We're already seeing the backstage influence.
McMahon is in, man.
Wow. That brilliant bastard. It saying he's never heard of these people. I don't blame. I get it. Up until last week, I don't know that I did either. Chris saying in WWE 2K24, he has Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez as WWE Women's Champions. Not a bad set of champions to have. And if you're going to be talking about WWE 2K24 with anybody, I pointed the wrong way. It's this guy over here. We've been promising. I'm not going to say anything tonight. We'll talk about it later. But we have some fun stuff in the world of video gaming that we are hoping to prepare for you guys.
Stay tuned.
And give it some time. All right. But and just confirming. Yep, was kind of a weird show tonight for Dynamite. It was. They made a very conscientious decision on how to book this show for the people for Title Tuesday, knowing what they were going to have to deal with competition from NXT. I don't know that I would have booked it that way personally, but I get it if you think you're going to just be hemorrhaging viewers to the other side. And I'm sure they kind of did. But we'll talk about that later. And I just realized Eric's not here anymore, so I don't know who I was talking to asking to put up a poll. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you, pal.
Come back, Eric.
Asking, is WWE 2K24 available on the Atari? I am sure there are people smarter than I am who could make that happen. I don't know who would want to, but I'm sure, give it enough time, give it enough elbow grease, somebody would make that happen for you.
Look, if they can put the Resident Evil 2 remake on an iPhone, anything is possible.
See, that's the power of positivity. It's Tuesday, it's not Monday, but we need it. We need it here. But let's see. We have a backstage segment with oh god, everything's backstage tonight, no matter the show. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Kalani Jordan are walking backstage after their big victory. They have a meeting. They have a confrontation with Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, who want to challenge them for the women's tag team titles. But Jade and Bianca say if they're going to have that match, it's not going to happen here. They're not coming to them for the match. They got to go to the champs. And that match will happen on SmackDown, presumably this Friday. And big rub for Lash Legend and Jackson. Big rub to get the main roster title match. I thought that was pretty cool. But moving back to finally another match. Our second title match of the night, as we have the tag team titles on the line as Fraxium defends against A-Town Down Under. Oof, what a fall from grace for the former SmackDown tag team champions, right?
I don't know. I mean, I think this is kind of the perfect setting for them.
I agree with that notion. I agree that they have so much they can offer and so much they can still absorb from being NXT adjacent. But to be 2 championship reigns removed from their reign as tag team champions, to now challenging, and spoiler guys, I apologize, challenging and losing to the NXT tag team champions. Undeniably, that's got to be a bump to the ego a little bit. And again, no shame in losing to a team like Fraxium, no shame losing a title match, but it's their trajectory is definitely not going up.
And I think that kind of obviously sets up for that inevitable split that they've just been teasing week after week after week until Austin Theory finally snaps and you know,
I'm for that.
it'll happen. I am actually very excited for it. I think a babyface Austin Theory could be a good thing for him.
I think so too. We talked. I think we talked about it last week.
Yes,
Lovable
yes.
hints of Austin Theory.
Give me dumb idiot.
Yeah.
Bad rom-com Austin Theory. That's what I want.
Absolutely. This match was fun. I thought this was a good showing for the tag team champions. Hold on, I just got to refresh my notes really quickly. Oh God, I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry, guys. My notes are a little messy for this match, but I'll get to the end. We had an accidental almost hit from Grayson Waller to Austin Theory that Theory catches. Kind of a moment of confrontation, but nothing too big. This then led to a big flip pile driver from Axiom. The champions go up top. A Spanish Fly sets it up after a Phoenix Splash from Nathan Frazier, retaining the NXT tag team titles, pinning Grayson Waller in this instance. I feel like Waller has been taking a lot of the pins lately, too. I feel like he's been taking more of the pins than Theory has.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
It's saying, I know you guys are doing WWE's mid-card training show called NXT, but I still think there's a chance Yuta turns. Because there was a few hints of it. We will talk. I promise we'll talk about it. But just briefly, we're not going to. I knew nothing was going to happen tonight. If anything is going to happen, it's going to happen Saturday. It's going to happen at the pay-per-view. And there's going to be a moment where Yuta is going to decide between hitting Bryan and hitting Mox. And I'm going to be devastated if Bryan's title reign and his full-time career ends because of Wheeler Yuta. And maybe that's what they're going for, but that's gonna be a tough pill to swallow.
It's Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle all over.
My God.
Wheeler Yuta.
I love Wheeler too. I really do. I will say though, I don't know if you saw any of it, but Daniel Garcia's promo showed why it was a good thing that he did not join the BCC, and why Yuta, who I think cut a decent enough promo last week on Dynamite to close the show, why I think Garcia has sort of surpassed Yuta at this point. And I don't think it's too far of a gap that Yuta can't catch up, but yeah, I think that's pretty clear.
No comment.
Fair enough.
I did not watch Dynamite tonight.
No, that's totally fair. It is Tuesday after all.
It is Tuesday.
Any thoughts on the matchup?
Yes. I know we were joking about it before, and I don't think that Fraxium is the greatest tag team of all time. But goddamn, are they so good?
Yep.
And I was actually surprised. I thought, I don't want to say I shouldn't say I was surprised. I am happy that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory were good opponents for them.
I agree. I agree.
The match did exactly what it needed to do. I've been a huge Nathan Frazier fan since he joined the WWE. Right. I think in ring he's great. Obviously I want to see, and I would say he has gotten better on the microphone over the last year or so. It was fine. It did exactly what it needed to. My one takeaway from this entire situation is we were robbed of Fraxium versus Motor City.
I'm really glad you brought this up because I was thinking about it before too. If they are going to break up, it is like I'm glad that Motor City went straight to the main roster. I saw what they could have offered NXT, but it's not what I want for the team. That said, us not getting Fraxium versus the Motor City Machine Guns, if Fraxium is going to break up, is bonkers.
Just could have been the tag match of the year.
Yes. I think there's a good argument for it. Yeah. Or a good argument hypothetically for it.
At least from an in-ring standpoint.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Bizarre. And it begs the question, who will take the titles off Fraxium? Because I'm still getting reacquainted with the NXT roster.
I will say they are very much suffering from a tag team situation right now. I don't feel they have a very strong tag division compared to, NXT of the past.
Yeah.
And whether that's just they've broken teams up or, they've moved on to the main roster, whatever it may be. Who is left to face them? It feels like there's no one left.
Chase, you just lost the titles to them.
I don't really want to see Gallus thrown back into the picture.
Me neither. I'd be cool. And again, it speaks to NXT. I'd be cool, especially considering the relationship. And mind you, we haven't really seen any crossover. I feel like it's kind of crazy that last week was the match, but no TNA tonight.
Interesting.
Right? No TNA tonight.
Now, I almost wonder if that's because they're on the road now. See, and maybe it was easier for them to send talent over to the Performance Center.
I don't know, because here's the thing. TNA, I know, had a rough week last week because of the hurricane. That they needed to really reconfigure their taping. They had to cancel in, I think, South Carolina, and then they moved the taping very last minute, very quickly to Nashville. And it really pushed them back a little bit, and thank God they were able, thank God everyone was okay, but they were able to really make lemonade out of lemons there. But again, even though they did that taping a couple of days later than they normally would have, it needs to be acknowledged they only do tapings once every few weeks. Once every 3 weeks or so, they'll do a taping. It can't be that hard to send talent on the road when you don't have to worry about them being on the road generally. And granted, this is only 1 week. Only 1 week. That happens. It's not crazy. But I'm wondering if now with this move to the CW, we're going to see less TNA. But again, pure speculation. They had Zachary Wentz on last week. So
and I believe Rosemary will kind of be around.
Yeah.
As it doesn't seem like her and Wendy. Yeah, great combination.
Yeah.
Would be interested to see if they add someone else to it.
Yeah. Who would you have in mind?
I mean, the easy answer is Jessica Havoc.
I mean, yes. But I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know why she's not getting booked right now by TNA. No idea. It's crazy.
I have no idea. But if you were to team someone, if you were to put someone in that group, why not her former Decay member?
No, that's very fair. That's
Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite know who else. I mean, do you have anyone in mind that would kind of fit?
I mean, not to the level that they go, but I guess you could throw in Gigi. Again, I know. It doesn't really fit, but if you needed a third person,
I almost wish that Wendy and Tatum didn't just feud, because that almost would have been an interesting addition as well.
I'd agree. I would agree.
Instead of just kind of throwing her back with Lyra. Yeah,
that was so random. Cute that little video, but random. Let's see. It's saying no TNA. Okay, that is my fault for clicking on a comment before fully reading it. You know it. You got me. You got me this time, pal. But
shout out to Testin Albert.
God, Trish Stratus really came a long way.
Oh yeah,
she really did. But yeah, I wouldn't be upset with the TNA team going at least getting a shot, because I don't think they're gonna have any cross-branded champions. I feel like they had a couple of opportunities to make that happen and they didn't really do it. But I would love to see the Rascals going for the NXT tag titles against Fraxium.
Would be great. ABC.
Oh my! From your
ABC is my. If there is one person that I just really want to leave a promotion and go to WWE, it's Ace Austin. And
unfortunately,
I know we've talked about this before.
Just signed that contract this year.
I want he is because he's young. He's still young.
Oh, he's super young. I think he's like 28. I'll look it up.
Ace Austin, if you're watching this,
27. Wow.
You are just do it, man. Just do it, Ace.
I love Ace. I love Bay too. I think Bay is a great.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I think they complement each other so well. And I'm dreading the eventual breakup because they've teased it a couple of times, and my heart sank because I love that team.
Do they still represent Bullet Club? Is that
so? There's never been anything. There's just no real connection to it whatsoever, and they have so many of the things that like are Bullet Club very clearly inspired. Like their finish has the name for it. For a long while, their music had like that Bullet Club full, you know, but they've been drifting away from it. And I get it. There was so little connection to Bullet Club for them at this point, you know, like TNA doesn't do shows with New Japan anymore. Not really. The talent isn't really just going there on their own the way they used to. And they're so disconnected from the War Dogs. They're so disconnected from anything Bullet Club that I get it. It sucks because I think for them, merch is merch. I don't care. But I stand by, and it's, again, I agree with you. Ace Austin in WWE would be phenomenal. Under the tutelage of Shawn Michaels.
Fantastic.
That said, from a purely wrestler standpoint, I would love to see Austin and Bay aligned with Jay White. Because one, Jay White's the guy who brought both of them into Bullet Club in the first place. And two, don't get me wrong, I have come to adore the Guns. I have come to adore Austin and Colton. But I would love to have seen ABC be that tag team.
Yeah,
for them.
I agree with you.
But I think that moment's passed. I think that moment's passed because unless they got rid of the Guns, which I think would be a bad decision, man, that would have just been. Imagine Jay, ABC, and Juice. Just perfect. In my opinion, just perfect. But
the Guns made it work, man.
They did. They really did. They really did. And I wish all four of them nothing but success. I'm still mind blown. Jay White came out through the babyface tunnel on Dynamite tonight. Feels weird, man. Feels weird. But all right, let's try to finish strong. I don't think it's going to last. We go back, coming back from commercial after the tag team title match. We have a Chase U vignette highlighting the tumultuous recent history between Chase University and Ridge Holland. No longer a part of Chase U, betraying Adrian Chase and just causing havoc. After that vignette, Ridge is being interviewed backstage, and that interview is interrupted by Riley Osborne, who I've come to really appreciate due to his excursion to TNA in his Ultimate X match. Riley really impressed me, having some great spots in that match. Brawling with Ridge Holland, who is the much, much bigger man. And as that brawl ends, we finally go to the most anticipated thing of the night, the sexy red special performance. That's the world we live in. You know it in the comments saying, wrestling being wrestling in this modern world, you never know, you still might see it. Bang, bang. And that's, I believe, in reference to the ABC.
Can we just, real quick?
Yeah, bring it on.
Am I crazy?
Yes, but what?
Or is what they're doing with Ridge Holland right now? I feel like Duke Hudson should be in this position.
Okay. For the story of Chase University in a vacuum, yes. Absolutely.
I feel like everything Chase U has done for the last year has just been okay.
Here's the thing. I agree in terms of the content. The crowd has gotten so behind them, though.
Oh, I know. And I get it, but I feel like there are certain aspects of Chase U. I like the idea of Chase U being a revolving door of wrestlers. And it's cool that they bring Ridge Holland in. I thought it was cool that they made Riley Osborne a prominent character in the stable. But I feel like people like Thea Hale and Duke Hudson are kind of very, very much so outgrowing the stable.
Okay.
And I would have liked to have seen what they're doing with Ridge, maybe shift towards someone who kind of needs a little more in that stable, because it is getting a little stale.
Yeah.
You know, Andre Chase should be looking to teach, you know, what else do these two have left to learn in his so-called, you know, wrestling school?
Again, in a vacuum, I completely agree with you for Chase U. My thing is, this was so, to me, it felt like they were doing this because Ridge desperately needed a reset. Ridge, who obviously has a lot of baggage with the fans for his genuine accidents. Things that nobody should hold him accountable for, because it's the unfortunate reality of the business. It's so many have happened to him. He needed the reset after the Brawling Brutes kind of fell apart for some inexplicable reason. They just stopped being a thing. And when
somehow no one has been better off for it.
Yeah, it's kind of astounding.
Genuinely.
I am.
You already know where I'm going to go with that conversation, so we won't.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry, Pete. I'm so sorry.
You know it, asking, why are we in a vacuum? Because sometimes it's easier. Suck it all in. But I think Ridge needed something to get heat that wasn't going to just be because of his past. And now they have given him a character that justifiably the crowd can boo on his own merit as a character. So, again, I completely agree within the context of Chase U and everything they've done, like you said, for the last year, for how they're kind of positioned right now in general. Duke would have made a lot more sense. But I think this is a good way of spinning multiple people into different things. I think Ridge has a direction. Riley Osborne has a story. I'm sure Duke is going to be involved in his own way. And of course, when Chase comes back, it's going to be, who knows where it'll lead to. But I don't hate it. I don't hate it because I think I care enough about Ridge. I'm rooting for the guy in life because of how bad everything's turned out with his career.
Which is fine. I think he maybe would have benefited from being on the other side of this particular story.
Interesting.
In terms of a true redemption arc. But I'm always happy to let it play out. surprised me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's maybe it's great. Don't know.
I think he has the capacity to be a good heel. I think he has the capacity to be a good heel. But like you said, let it play out. Time will tell, and I'm willing to give him the chance. Sup, Navarro? Welcome back to the chat, my friend. Glad you're here. How is Sean's cooking tonight? I think pretty well done. Pretty well done.
Another solid show.
Yeah. They are very much relying on the attraction of big names to really get the crowd coming in and to get the audience watching. But I think NXT Faithful is also delivering on their end too. Like the true stars of NXT are putting on a good show. So Sean knows just how to mix those ingredients, I think. But as we get back to in-ring action and, the truly hard-hitting stuff, Sexy Red is performing. She can't get too far, though, as she is interrupted by All Ego Ethan Page. Oh, Ethan. He says this segment is his now, and he is here to invoke his rematch clause against Trick. As he is being quite disrespectful to Sexy Red, VonEvans comes out, lays Ethan out, and throws him out of the ring, and he starts celebrating and dancing with Red while wearing Ethan's glasses. Okay. Right? Okay.
Every show needs a low point, right?
I feel so weird whenever I discuss Ethan Page. Because as a human being, I think this is somebody that could legitimately be one of my best friends if we ever got
I would love him in real life.
Yes.
Just every interview I watch, I'm like, man, you're a nerd.
Yeah.
You are a nerd, and I appreciate that. And I don't hate Ethan Page.
Yep.
I don't think he's bad at really anything. He's not amazing, but I don't think he's bad at anything.
I'd agree.
But this is just such an odd segment. Did you really need Sexy Red out there? Maybe the NXT crowd cares. Maybe it's just me not caring. But I'd like to think I kind of have a little bit of a pulse on like what wrestling fans are into, and I just have never really seen anyone be like, oh my god, Sexy Red. Let's
I think in the beginning there was, because there was some attention.
Well, yeah, because it's obviously when you're first doing it, it's like, oh wow, that's actually, no, I never thought that would happen. That's okay. You want to see it. It's a weird thing that you want to see. But when it's the fourth time,
if that, it might be more. It might actually be more.
It doesn't feel so special anymore. It's almost kind of annoying.
I'd agree. The only way, and I guess this is, again, me being a mark, the only way I would be just fine is if she's just genuinely loving it as a fan. And it's I want to be involved as much as you guys would let me be involved. In that case, it's okay, I don't want to tell this person who's got an opportunity to have fun and not really taking away from the product.
No, and it's not her fault.
No, not at all.
I'm not, I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy she's there. I get why they put her on TV.
Yes.
You're on the CW now. You want a ratings boost. Jey Uso was there. I get it. Yep, yeet. But it felt like such an odd segment. It was a very weird way to kind of push into the main event.
You could have accomplished the same thing with Ethan if he came out on his own and Javon came out and just clocked him.
Sure.
I think you could have accomplished the same thing. But Sean knows more than I do, so I'm going to give him the benefit on this one. Everybody gets one a night, and this was the one. It in the crowd, in the comments, saying, nice guys and gals make the best heels. A-holes are the faces. It's not wrong. I whether it's theater or film or television or professional wrestling, that tends to be true. So Good call there, it's saying Wrestling 101. Now he's just being sassy. This man.
Unless you're Scott Steiner.
Samoa Joe throws everything off. Everything off. But we come back, and before the match starts, we have another Delta vignette. And I'm excited. I'm excited.
I am so excited.
They are treating her like a big deal. They're treating her like a threat that's coming in. And I think that's a great way to build hype for her. These videos have been a lot of fun. She's getting closer and closer to NXT, literally and I guess figuratively. And I don't know much about Delta. I'll be the first to admit. I'm not super aware of her, but they're doing a good job of building that hype for me. And it's going to be interesting to see because obviously now we're dealing with Bakar and Julia, a returning Cora Jade, and now Delta. This is a crowded division, and I don't mean that in a bad way. This is an embarrassment of riches. We were just talking about how parched the NXT tag team division is.
The women's roster is thriving, especially with the TNA crossover.
Yes, absolutely.
Could you imagine Delta versus Jordan Grace?
From your lips to God's ear.
I know you love meaty men slapping meat. Meaty women slapping meat. It hits different. It hits different. It changes a part of you, and it awakens you to things that you never knew existed in your soul. Eric, I'm looking at you.
God. Oh man. See, I have been paying attention. I need you to know since we had you back last week, we have you this week. Which, by the way, everybody, let's say thank you to Nick for being here. It's been a while, and we love having Nick here. I'm hoping to make this a regular thing.
Everyone's favorite part-timer.
Absolutely. I've been looking for where we could get you back into the intro video. And last week we had a good one. This one was we got
might have topped it. Don't worry. I'll deliver. Everybody gets one once a week. You're gonna get a quotable Nick line. Quote.
There you
quote
go.
Me. Quote the Raven.
Forward to it. Nevermore, baby. But yeah, looking forward to Delta. Looking forward, like you said, to the potential of Jordan Grace versus Delta. And realistically, even when the TNA crossover inevitably ends, Jordan is coming to WWE regardless.
I agree. 100% agree.
So that'll be cool. And yeah. Anything. I love when divisions are stacked. Oh my God. You know it. You're killing me, man. I'm not putting that comment up, but I acknowledge you. Oh man. Anyway, and we're back to the show. And our main event as the Viper, the Legend Killer, the Legend, Randy Orton, comes down to NXT to take on VonEvans. Now, I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. This is the first time I've ever seen VonEvans.
Wow.
Now, I saw him last week, obviously, in the hype package for this week.
Right.
But as somebody who does not watch NXT regularly, this is my first exposure to VonEvans in the ring. And I was very confused coming into this match. I was like, why is VonEvans the one who's getting the rub from Randy? I got it. I absolutely get it. The kid delivered. He was a great opponent for Randy. He sold well for Randy, and he brought it to Randy. He wasn't just there to be a body for Randy. He was a good opponent for Randy Orton. And I apologize for my ignorance. I apologize for not knowing, but I'm on board. And I think Javon, I don't know how old he is, but I think Javon
is very young. Javon is NXT's answer to Nick Wayne, essentially.
Wow.
I believe he's like 19. maybe
Yeah,
20.
wow. 20. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got him 20. I'm in. Bravo to this kid.
Yeah, he looked great. Lot of great spots in this match. VonEvans to me is someone that he feels like a project for WWE.
Yes. Yeah, he's a long-term investment.
Because while obviously there's plenty of work that needs to be done, he is at a level at 20 years old that I think they see they can mold into their own star.
Yes. I'd agree. I'd agree. And you love to see it. I love seeing these guys who, if they love the sport, if they love the business, and they're there for decades, and they're like the franchise guy, like they don't want to leave, they don't plan on leaving, and you put the time in me from when I was a kid, I'm going to put the time in you till I'm an old man. So I love to see it, and we'll see. Again, I'm now very aware of Javon, and I'm hoping that he continues to shine. I'm hoping he continues to shine, and I think tonight's match was a good major exposure, because that's what this was. Like, they're on the new platform now. They're on the CW. They have more eyes on them than they ever had before. They very purposely did not have him wrestle on last week's show. This is the second week show, and it was he had time to breathe with a legend like Randy Orton.
How many times has Randy Orton won the world title? Is it 12?
No, I think he's at 14. I think he's at 14, which is mind-boggling. But
huge match for a 20-year-old.
Absolutely.
And I get it. Randy was probably wrestling huge stars at 20 years old, right? So
but
you're passing the torch.
And it's different when you're Randy Orton at 20, where you grew up with it.
That's fair. That's very fair.
And I think they put Javon in like the I think they threw him into the water. Yeah, and it was sink or swim, like you said. And I think he swam. But let's get to the match. Collar and elbow turning to start things up. Orton sidesteps a drop kick and gives Evans the old not that easy finger wag. Like a dad who's impressed that the kid tried.
Sonic the Hedgehog, Tim.
Yeah. We then get a waist lock, and that's reversed into an arm wringer, and then we get whipped into the corner, and Javon is up and over, gets a slingshot back in, and keeps his distance, but Randy grabs a side headlock. Evans then gets whiplashed to the mat and then shoved into the corner, and Randy breaks it clean, and this continuing the toy with the kid, giving him a good old head pat. And I loved it. I love this Randy Orton. I love Dad Randy Orton. Yeah. Yes. Fucking yes. And I'll be honest, we're going to tangent it a little bit. With the turn that happened at the pay-per-view, with Kevin turning heel, attacking Cody after the show. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah. I've been questioning, what are they going to do with Randy? Is Randy going to turn heel? Is Randy going to be waiting in the wings for Kevin after Cody's done with him? What's going on here? I am dreading the concept of Randy turning heel again, because I am loving him so much as this baby face who's just having fun.
Yeah, and that's... I almost don't want to see him involved in it in a way.
I think it's impossible to avoid because of how entrenched he's been with KO and Cody. But I agree. But I think it's coming eventually. And I think there's too much money on the table to not do Randy versus Cody. And if someone's turning heel there, I don't think it's going to be Cody.
I expect Cody to eventually turn heel. I don't think it's anytime soon.
Yeah, I think it's a late 2025 thing.
But I've also been saying I really want to see Cody basically doing the boys in WWE, and he brings all of his guys in the Ethan Pages.
So he's Butcher in this analogy. He's not Homelander. Ironic twist.
Yes, to an extent. I mean, I still want to see like a Homelander attitude from Cody. I think he does a very good job at that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, that's a conversation for another show. Cody Rhodes isn't on NXT.
Yeah, you're right.
Randy Orton is.
You know, it's saying he's old enough to have seen his dad wrestle, and I think he then says Cody, not Randy. Although it's fair bet with either of them. I've seen Bob live when Randy wrestled Taker at Mania. I feel like I've definitely seen Dusty live, but I don't know if I've ever seen him do anything live. But I digress.
I don't recall seeing either of them.
Right. After the head pat, there's a blocked kick, and Javon gets Randy on the rewind and lands a drop kick that sends Orton to the floor with a smile on his face as we go to break. Again, I just love this version of Randy that it's like, you fucking got me. Back from commercial, Orton goes for the back suplex, but Evans lands on the announce desks on his feet, and you could see in his face, Randy took that fucking personally. That's Randy's spot, dropping people with the backdrop onto the announce table. He goes to the apron for a kick off the ropes with a dive, but Randy caught him and then does the suplex onto the table, and then another, and the crowd just keeps asking for more. And I think we got like 4. I think we got like 3 or 4 backdrops onto that table.
I also love Randy kind of responding to the crowd now.
Absolutely.
Making it known. Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a great little touch to that. Like, all right, quit nagging me. You know, Dad Randy Orton. Like, I don't know if that's just his mannerisms or if that's playing into his character that he's putting out right now, but I think it's a really nice little touch that I
think so
too.
I'm glad you brought that up because I really do agree with you on that one. And I think there are a few guys who can get away with it the way Randy does. But regardless, we then get back inside. An Irish whip is reversed, and a flipping kick gets Javon a near fall. He then hits a springboard ace crusher. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He goes for a springboard ace crusher. It's blocked and then gets snapped up into a scoop power slam. Gets the cover, only getting a 2. Randy then goes to that special place he loves going for the RKO, pounding that mat. But Evans cuts him off with a super kick, a big one. I think it drew some spit from Randy. He goes for the double jump into the ace crusher, gets it this time, but Randy kicks out.
Very near fall.
It was a very near fall. We then go for the double jump, but Randy is able to counter it into an RKO and then hits another one for good measure because it's Randy Orton. And then he gets the 1, 2, 3. And Randy Orton, I think this is his first match ever in NXT, 1-0 in NXT.
There was a short period of time, early black and gold era, where they were sending main roster guys, similar to how they're doing now. They were sending main roster guys down to NXT. I feel like Randy might have popped up.
It's possible.
I can't say for sure, but part of me wants to say that he has been. I mean, maybe he's never wrestled on NXT before. Either way.
I remember Punk wrestling. I remember Claudio
RVD,
obviously wrestling.
RVD and Neville had a match.
Who?
Which RVD and Neville.
That's
Pac.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, but yeah. I heard Neville. I didn't hear
RVD.
That's crazy.
Scotty 2 Hotty. Scotty 2 Hotty and Brian Christopher, actually.
I hear Scotty could still go.
Scotty can still go. Scotty left his job with WWE so he could go wrestle on the indies again. That is insane to me.
Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty knows something. I don't know. Scotty knows something that I don't know.
It still grinds my gears so much that Rikishi didn't thank him and Brian Christopher in his Hall of Fame speech.
Rikishi's been doing a lot of things that have been annoying me lately. Let's be honest.
That I forgave him for running Steve Austin over. I don't know that I could forgive this Rikishi who does not shut the fuck up.
Someone needs to take his phone away from him.
Really, like his kids need to be like, Dad, we're done. All right, you're good. You did your part. We're good. We don't need you to keep pushing.
Although Rikishi did bully them into making Jey Uso the Intercontinental Champion, so at least there was some benefit out of it.
I really want to believe that WWE had no intention of making Jey Uso champion.
Yeah, and Rikishi's like, we're gonna go to AEW.
Yeah, he's not gonna step the fuck up. He's gonna make this contract negotiation so much harder. Just put the fucking title on. Put the fucking title on. Oh God, I love fantasy booking backstage interactions. Let's see, go into the comments real quick. It's saying the same guy who cried and refused to turn in AEW. That's in reference to Cody. And I agree. It will be like, as an AEW fan, I'm going to feel it right here. I'm going to get the agita when I see Cody turn.
I will say I was very much at that point also very tired of babyface Cody.
Yes, we all were. We all were. I love Cody Rhodes. I was tired of him.
Very first Malachi Black feud, I was like praying this is the guy to, like, if you're going to turn Cody Rhodes heel, like, no one's better to make that happen. And they just, like, I don't know. He refused to do, he would do everything but that.
Yep.
And he's so good at it too. Bullet Club Cody Rhodes is hysterical.
BTE Cody Rhodes might be one of the funniest people I've ever seen in this lifetime.
Fuck the Revival. You know?
Fuck the Revival. Oh, God, the exorcism of Cody Rhodes is cinema. Yeah. But back to the comments. It's saying you so young when you saw Dusty. WWE really needs to change the policy about the indies. They're getting better. I hear, I think, was it you who told me last week, or was it Rev who told me that apparently Kofi is going to be working in indie soon?
Really?
Yeah, I heard that.
Must have been Rev.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, but cool.
I would like to see a WWE guy work the G1.
Who would you put? Current WWE.
I was thinking about this the other day. Okay. This is a choice purely picked because I think he would almost be perfect for it. And it's not someone that I think would necessarily be the most interesting choice.
Okay.
But I have to say Sheamus.
Wow. All right. I could tell you he would not have been my first pick, but he's someone I would love to see.
Especially like current day Sheamus.
Yeah. Banger after banger after banger. Yeah. Yeah.
It would make him way more interesting than, yep, there you go.
Oh, she agrees.
I think that would be just based on a, like, hey, we don't want to send any of our top guys there because if they get hurt, then we're fucked. Yeah. But, Sheamus is a guy that I think would just fit weirdly very well in it.
I'd agree. See, I would have. It's not fair, but it's just I would have put Sheamus. I would have loved to see Sheamus in a G1 5 years ago, with the talent that was there at that point. For right now, if I had to put somebody in the G1 from WWE, it's one of three people. It's Sammy. It's Seth. Seth is probably my number one choice for that.
Yeah, I mean, Seth is the guy that you want to go everywhere, right?
Yeah.
You want to send him to all of the places to wrestle everyone.
Yeah.
but unfortunately to me, he's still way too relevant.
And
risk something like that.
And I get that. And that's why my third option is the same, that it's like, all right, from a wrestling standpoint, yes, but from a company standpoint, you can't send him over ever. Gunther.
Yes.
I think strong style is his style, obviously. He obviously does British strong style, which is different than Japanese strong style, but it's so similar.
Still so hard hitting, and it just...
And, oh, God, I'd love it. You know it. Happy that he sidetracked the host into a fantasy wrestling booking. His evil deed is done. Yep. You know what? When we're having fun like this, we appreciate it. So
I love some good fantasy booking.
Absolutely.
I do it in my head way too often, and that's what WWE 2K24 is for.
Exactly.
I just let my weird fantasy bookings come to life.
I can't tell you how many times in my 2K I've had the most unexpected of champions, just because why the fuck not? You know, every once in a while, let's go crazy.
I made the mistake of simulating my Royal Rumble.
Oof.
And I got Xavier Woods.
Which not the worst.
Is fine. And I will say, playing on PC is cool, because if I really wanted to like get in there and like make him his own superstar, totally could have done it.
Yeah. Hey,
wasn't gonna do it, but
you could have had Tonga Loa. You could have had fucking who's actually in that roster. You could have had Humberto Carrillo win instead. Tyler Breeze. God.
I miss Tyler Breeze.
You and me
Speaking
both,
of
brother.
NXT, talk about a guy that would fit so well with Pretty Deadly.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Like, just have him 1 week show up.
Yeah.
Just 1 week. Acknowledge it because we all want it and just move on.
We miss you, Tyler. Come back.
We really do. But fun matchup, fun main event. Not the end of the show, though, as we go backstage and Ava Raine has both Ethan Page and Wesley in her office, both men clamoring for a title shot against Trick Williams. Ava Raine decides to book the match. It's happening. Ethan Page versus Wesley for the number one contender spot for the NXT title. But there's a twist. And that twist is after his showing tonight in the main event against Randy Orton, VonEvans will be added to it, and it will be a triple threat with the winner challenging Trick Williams for the NXT World Championship. Wow, quite the leap for Javon. That's great. Wesley feels like the obvious winner, especially because Ethan is moving. It seems like he's moving on to Raw after what happened yesterday. And I laugh. I laugh so hard that CM Punk's next rivalry after Drew McIntyre is going to be Ethan Page.
We talked about this.
We did.
Last
we did.
week.
And I think we willed it into existence.
You and I need to stop. I don't know what it is. Anytime James and I are together and we talk about wrestling, or we're in some sort of whatever you want to call it, wrestling bubble, yeah. We just make bad things happen. James almost killed John Moxley one time.
I directly attribute what I did to Moxley to where his brain is today and why he's attacking Bryan Danielson.
James is the reason that there is a plastic bag around Bryan Danielson's face.
I'm the reason there's no more Blackpool Combat Club.
You heard it here first. James killed AEW.
Okay, my name's not Phil Brooks. I'm not a big Walking Dead guy. But that was NXT, guys. Thank you.
And some other stuff.
And the other stuff was fun stuff.
Yeah.
But I thought NXT did a great job of continuing the momentum from their debut last week on the CW. I think they put on two great title matches tonight. A shocking upset, as far as I'm concerned. I consider it an upset that D'Angelo beat Obafemi. a fun tag team title match, to me, an eye-opening main event with VonEvans taking on Randy Orton. And of course, you know, the Yeet Man himself, Jey Uso, making an appearance in NXT. You never know who's going to pop up when, but it's very clear they're investing the time, they're investing the energy, and they're investing the names into NXT as we're progressing with this CW era. Nick, was there a highlight for you tonight?
Ooh, I would say from a high point, just Tony D'Angelo and Obafemi, great match.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fantastic. Can't talk about it enough. The only other thing that I would, I guess, mention is I wish that anytime they did some sort of, I don't know what it is, but I'm assuming that Julia and Stephanie Vicaire went to the Tongaloa School of Holding Up Championships, because I wish that people would just stop holding belts up wrong.
I think you're doing them dirty, but I get it. It was awkward. I don't even know why it was awkward. I don't know what made it
upside down.
Awkward.
It was upside down.
Oh, God.
That's what was awkward. Although, to be fair, you can't really see that belt. So
I
give them the good graces of just not knowing which way to hold it. But
that was great. I'm happy she finally landed in NXT. I'm glad that we got it out of the way finally. Let's see. What do we got here in the comments? You know it. You know it. Thank you so much, pal. I you know it with the super comment. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. You know it. I'm gonna give you the benefit tonight. I'm just gonna say that way we don't have to keep anybody up. I'm gonna cover AEW tomorrow, so you know it. Get some rest. Tomorrow we will we'll go strong. We'll do an early one. We'll try to do it in like the evening.
You don't have to be here at 8 o'clock.
Exactly.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Hell yeah.
You could be here at 4 in the afternoon. You never know.
We could be here at 4:07 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That's how crazy things can be tomorrow. But you know it, in all seriousness, thank you so much. We love having you, and it means a lot to us. But yeah, super happy Stephanie Vicaire landed. I enjoyed the buzz that the show had at the beginning with Trick and Jay. Main event was, like I said, eye-opening for me with Javon really impressing me. And all the best to the new North American champion, Tony D'Angelo. And my God, Obafemi just run to that main roster. Run to that main roster. If things continue the way they are, I am 100% happy with Obafemi being the person to take the title off of Gunther eventually.
Wow.
That feels like a Mania match to me. I'm not saying like anytime soon. I'm not saying even this Mania, but Gunther versus Obafemi feels like a WrestleMania match to me.
Bold statement.
Well, I
agree with you on the Mania match, but
I'm calling Obafemi a James guy. And historically, I've only ever had one James guy who's failed.
Huh.
I don't even want to tell you who it is.
Oh boy. I'll have to do some
sleuth
work on that.
I will come back next week and we'll see.
Stay tuned next week to find out who James's failure is.
All right. You know it wants me to read his super chat, and you know what? Absolutely. You know it's saying it's James's fault always. Just remember that, Nick. And I mean,
trust me, I'm the first person to make sure James knows it's his fault.
Yep. I need to be held accountable, guys. I need to. It's the ego goes a little crazy otherwise. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. You guys know the shtick. If you're new to the audience, thank you so much for checking us out. I don't know what brought you in, but please, thank you. I want you to know it means so much to us. Please hit that like button. Let us know that we're doing something right, because if we are, we'll keep doing it. And if you are new and you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button. We cover all wrestling. We cover WWE. We cover AEW on nights that they're not on WWE. We cover TNA. We cover New Japan when something big happens. We cover Ring of Honor when something gigantic happens. We cover all pay-per-views for all shows. We will be covering Wrestle Dream this upcoming Saturday. We covered Bad Blood this last weekend. That was crazy. The Rock is back. Hell yeah.
I can smell it.
I can, and it's, you know, a little ripe, but I'm in. We cover everything. So if you want to have fun with us, if you want to talk wrestling with us, this is the place. Hit that subscribe button. And if you want even more of us, check us out on social media. We are everywhere. It's annoying sometimes. We are on every piece of social media you could think of. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on X/Twitter. We are on TikTok. We are wherever the happening cool kids are. We are too. So check. I know I'm tired and I'm old and I'm
Hippin' and happening.
Check us out. Matt is killing it on Instagram. Danny and Eric and Rev are killing it on X. I am being killed by Facebook, and we tick the talk sometimes too. So check us out all over. All that should be somewhere down below, or you can find this. Just mark it down. But guys, I am James Gisanti, once again joined by the delicious Tuesday Night Delight, Nick Maniotis. We will be back next week. Well, hopefully, I'm going to try to guilt him to come back again next week. And
see if we can go for the hat trick, ladies and gentlemen.
Right? I will be covering AEW tomorrow. I'll let you guys know ahead of time. That way it's not a surprise drop, but check us out there. And of course, I'll be covering TNA in the Gym Pack Zone on Thursday. And like I said, we will be covering Wrestle Dream on Saturday. God willing, it will not be Bryan Danielson's last match. Anything you want to say?
That would be a
before we
wrestle nightmare.
I don't think there's anything else to say. I think you nailed it. Unless you have something to promote, I think that's what we go out on.
See you next week.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody. Yeah. Bye.